What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Element TD2. We are here with another achievement, Absolute Knowledge, beat mission 21 on normal, using only level 1 towers. I'm not going to read everything out, but we use income free, lives free, because we only need to survive. Railgun, Crystal Spire, Obelisk, and Tesla tree are the level, or the quad towers, and well, everything else along the path. You can look at it. Well, and Blacksmith are going to be important. Jinx has the only tower upgrade that we are going to use, and well, that's it. So, we are using a windstorm tower here. We're using a vapor tower here, and we are going to use another vapor down here. Now we're going to speed 2. Actually, we have 500 more, so we use a well tower here to give them a little bit more firing speed, and once we have another 500 we go for another vapor tower, funnily enough. The windstorm obviously there to apply the slowdown. For another vapor down here. And I would love a Jinx tower right now, but I don't think we can afford one right now. Or can we upgrade one? Doesn't look like it. We can get one right now, and we put it down here. There we go. So this build should keep us safe for the time being. I want a corrosion tower here, because that increases the damage taken. There we go. Having the Jinx tower here, especially when with Curse of Death after 20 seconds the targets take bonus damage, the path gets longer and longer, so this bonus damage that it is taking will actually come into play, because we place it so far at the front. Now this one gets through, which is a bit annoying, but I am actually saving up quite a lot of points here. This one might also get through. No, it doesn't. But yeah, the big thing is, as we play, no, we don't place it. I'm tempted to do it, but I'm not going to. Let's get this one to a windstorm. This one is getting through. That will bleed us quite a bit. But for now, this is not our priority. A haste tower here. There we go, now we have roughly 2000 points here. I want a root tower here for the slowdown effect. And then we have another vapor here and a vapor there. And the start of this will take a lot out of you, and you will bleed some lives at the start. That is, as unfortunate as it is, part of a strategy to make a build that really pays off the longer this goes. And this haste tower really doing work right now. But overall we focus on towers that are not as great right now, because we focus a lot on towers in the quad section that we can't afford yet, so the towers that we will focus on are just currently not available to us yet, so water obviously having a pretty big weakness here. And no, this one does not get through, so that works out just fine. And we have a haste tower here. And a windstorm here for a good slowdown effect. This one already has a slowdown effect, obviously, so... There we go. Right now it's all about surviving, and later into the game we get, the better our build gets. Like I already mentioned, so there is another slowdown. This already has that slowdown effect. So that increases the time we can spend railing them, which is exactly what we need. And as the map expands a little bit, it also becomes a lot more interesting to see the variety of towers that we will be using. Haste tower with its maximum firing speed is actually pretty good. Obviously it is being countered by the cursed creeps here a little bit, but... Go for an obelisk now. Place a windstorm here. Actually here. To make sure the effect stays of the slowing down over this area. And yeah, we have an obelisk here now. That's our first level 4 tower or quad tower thing. And we expect great things from it. So the haste tower really somewhat counteracting the cursed creeps, which is appreciated. There's an earth boss, which is annoying and which might actually get through, which is also annoying. This is looking better now. It's coming in late enough. The haste taking care of most of it, and the obelisk should take care of the rest if something gets through. So far so good. Now we have water creeps coming out of here, and that means we finally make use of this. Get a disease tower here. And we also want a blacksmith tower that affects them. And a well tower as well that affects them. Having them buffed is always a good idea. You can already see that here, having the damage buff here. Very effective. The obelisk will have to show what it's worth now. And also want a Jinx tower here. So that's still within range? I think it might be. Yes, it is. Good. It will take a lot of damage here, or everything will take a lot of damage here. Obviously the obelisk, quite bad against the water creeps, but that's just something we'll have to live with. The most important tower will actually be the railgun tower, but we don't need that yet. No need for it just yet. The haste tower having a hard time countering the creeps, the cursed creeps here, and really building up speed. Now it's starting to build up speed and countering it. It certainly struggled a little bit there. There we go. We have 3,500 points now. Banked up, so that's good. Good, but not yet exactly what I want. Now we have 4,000 points that we can soon spend up top here. Everything that gets up here will get a pretty big mouthful of this tower now. Unfortunately, we placed it a little bit late, so that it couldn't really build up its full power, but we managed to live anyway. This haste's still in a great position here. And now I really just want to save up for wave 15, when the map expands again. Because that obviously will have a great impact. As you can see, the Crystal Spire really, when it's built up, it deals out a ton of damage to everything that comes through. Oh, I do want a blacksmith here, as well as a well tower, so that we can buff everything in range here. And that will improve this section by quite a lot. There's a water boss, which is kind of annoying. We're bleeding some lives somewhere. Probably into this one. It just happens. You will bleed alive here and there. It's not something I'm too worried about. Corrosion towers, so far somewhat neglected by us actually. Especially because they increase the damage that is taken by creeps. So having them certainly helps. Having another one here probably also helps. So it doesn't deal a lot of damage, especially on level 1, it's not particularly great. But increasing the damage taken is just such a great bonus that, well, it really helps. So put some more disease towers here, and we have this one, and another Jinx tower here, as well as our first railgun. Railguns will be quite important later on, not so much right now. Hope the buff comes in. Yeah, it comes in time for one of them at least. Obviously buffs a railgun. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Now I have a windstorm here. So this is another kill zone, and then we will make this one another kill zone. In time, in time. Obviously the railgun, not amazing countering those massed small enemies, but that's not what we have it for, so where is that? The big thing is the long path. You will bleed some lives on the short paths. Just because you don't really build up to counter the short path. But generally speaking, the important thing is the long path, so get another railgun here. The great thing about the railgun is having the ability to fire all across the map, even when there are no enemies close by. So the obelisk doing its work here. And there we can see this one in effect again. So everything doing its job as it is supposed to. Another one of those here. Stacking the effects, as you can see, that is always great, stacking those debuffs on them. And the railguns just fire and kill things right as they spawn. It's always great. Now at the end of this we will be hit by the volcano explosion, and oh, that's a bit annoying. So we'll be prepared to be annoyed by it, I guess. And we have an obelisk here. It'll destroy a lot of our towers, and then we need to rebuild them. And another thing you want to do is not build everything so bunched up. You want to spread them out a little bit here and there, but that's actually pretty good. That's also a problem you have with Tesla towers, because you want to build them in a network, and that can easily be destroyed by that, so it's a bit of a problem. Right, so far nothing really getting through here. Another obelisk here. Now we also wait a lot. So that's also part of it. Waiting. Waiting and saving up resources. That's a great thing about railguns. Like it can fire from here onto these boss enemies, and that just deals so much damage. It makes them pretty good. The obelisks dealing a ton of damage because they can fire onto these spawns and on this spawn and on everything coming through here, so it's already 8 million damage, which is quite a lot. This one had 2 million for reference, and those are standing here since the start, so yeah, we have a spawn here now. I want a windstorm here for the slowdown, as well as a root for the slowdown, as well as a corrosion for increased damage taken. And then I don't think that we need much more than that. We probably don't need 2 windstorm towers here neither, but... Well, should I go for an obelisk here, or another railgun? Who knows, who knows? Difficult questions. Does this range down here? I mean, it's firing on it, but like the range doesn't look like it. So that's certainly surprising. Can you fire on this, please? The railgun's taking care of everything getting through, but it was a bit weird and annoying that these towers rather fired down there than take care of the lane they're actually supposed to guard. Not much is getting through now. But like I said, the build was made for late game dominance and not so much early game dominance. So this one now fully focusing on this path, so not better for what we want to do. Why is it not? Are you bugged, mate? Okay, now we're there. That's weird. Cursed creeps, I hate them. Hey, we bled alive somewhere. But like I said, the short spawns will bleed lives here and there, but not in an extent where us troubling in any way. Apparently not much getting through here, this one playing pretty calm. We're on more than 7,000 gold right now. Very comforting. This one is already preparing for the next spawn, by the way. So these two railguns, obviously they will fire. But their purpose is the next spawn, not what we see right now. Normally I would just save up interest, but they are already firing, obviously, with their long shots, so why not use them, right? Obelisks are so fun. Crystal spires, as great as they are, yeah, they get one through. Oh well. But that's what I said, the short paths, they just... You will bleed alive here and there, but it's nowhere near what you might be bleeding otherwise. So. I could use an obelisk down here, couldn't I? Or at least another one here. Questions over questions. We don't really need to bolster it, I don't think. Let's put a railgun here, at least it can fire everywhere. The thing is, I hate bleeding lives here, but it's not important enough to really place more towers onto this. Especially since that doesn't really necessarily mean that the ones walking the short path are actually the ones that get killed by it, so... The obelisks are also in prime positions, which is why the damage is so high. So, compared to the railguns, which are allowed in positions where they don't deal as much damage. But their ground covering effect is just pretty good as well, so that's where we are. Having an obelisk down here would probably also be pretty good. Let's turn this into... We obviously have a windstorm here, so that's fine, and then we have another obelisk here. For everything coming out of this immediate spawn, so that can probably add to the damage quite a bit as well. And here are the railguns railing the transference creeps, which I certainly like and appreciate. It somewhat prevents the transference creeps from getting through the map when we... Where is it shooting now? Whatever. It's charging up again. Great. Something got through somewhere again. It's like I don't even notice where things get through because it's just somewhere something entered. And it's annoying because everything is going well and you're like, well, where is this happening? But I can put an obelisk here for all that I care, but alright, the spawn goes through here and then over there. So let's put another obelisk here. One here and one here. This will obviously take a while until they come out and spawn. So. It is good to have that railgun damage coming in this early. So I'm really not going to lie, it is good. The Tesla network, we never really built it. So you might as well skip out on it. We did well enough without it, I would say. And I'm not particularly afraid of losing. Now again, you bleed some lives here and there, but generally speaking, not much is happening. And I do want the obelisk down here. Just for general purposes of trying to bolster these early paths a little bit. So that we at least limit the amount that gets through. These are actually entirely useless if you think about it. But they apply the debuffs, allowing all of those to do their maximum damage. So, as useless as they seem, they are not quite that. I should put another root tower here, but it's unnecessary. So much damage output that it is indeed somewhat unnecessary, but you do what you do, right? And I don't think you can really mess it up at this point. You should be in a very good position here. I'm now placing railguns in weird locations so that the volcano won't take everything down. And I want fairly constant railgun fire, tearing everything down. This one will... oh, okay, it's down already. We have 6 railguns now, which is something. Let's put one here. Let's put another one there. Just making sure we have them in spread out positions, so not everything goes down at once. Wells and Blacksmith obviously very far down on the damage list, but they're just there to buff the other towers, so that's understandable. You can see the railgun fire having an effect all across the map. Now the obelisks are still kings of damage here. Also because we only place them in positions where they really get the most out of it. And yet the build is mainly focused around the railguns. The obelisks are kind of the unsung heroes, I guess. Of just getting rid of everything. This one 10 million damage, 7 million damage, 21 million damage. This one on 4.6. 8.4 is quite a lot, but it's 3 million, and you can see these upper towers up until here. Everything that isn't a quad tower really not even close to the damage that the quad towers are doing. And even the crystal spires are nowhere near the damage output. Let's build another obelisk. Because why not? We already have them in the most efficient locations, so the obelisks we're building now aren't adding damage to the same extent that the ones we had earlier, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, this one down already. We have a ton of gold and we will soon have a lot more gold because we'll lose quite a lot of towers to the volcano and that's going to be annoying. There you can see the railguns coming in from all over the map, helping tremendously. And that's something the obelisks can't do, so... I'm going to speed 1. Unfortunately, it ruins the area as well, so that kind of limits your building area. And you kind of want to make sure that you also replace things that you lose. Where's the fire boss? We have a lot of debuffs on him. And he's dead soon, please. There it falls down. And now the build is all about the railguns all over the map, because you never know where you're going to lose something, like here, and then you just want to replace it somewhere else, and the railguns with their ability to fire all across the map are perfectly capable of being placed wherever you want on the map and doing a pretty good job, so... This kill zone is still active and these obelisks here obviously being some of our main damage dealing ones, so this one is obviously crazy. As you can see, even with 14 railguns, the obelisks are still kings of damage just because of how well positioned they are and, well, how amazing they are in general. But like I said, this map covering fire that the railguns have is also pretty good, even if the brunt of the damage is dealt by the obelisks. So, fire stopped here, we can put down an obelisk here. Although nothing will really come here anymore. So that was kinda useless. Oh well, doesn't matter. This is 1, and it is 1 rather comfortably. Where are the railguns coming? There we go, that clears it, that gets you the achievement. Obviously the score wasn't very good because that was nowhere near a totally perfect build that I would recommend using, but for the achievement it's perfectly fine, and I hope you can do this as well. Until next time, farewell.